So this becomes, to my mind, one of the more important evaluations. And then, of course, is the trodden path in terms of tax saving, in terms of estate duty saving, in terms of control. But those are, to my mind, pretty much navigable. So what makes it unique in the Indian context is the willingness and the ability of the next generation to handle complexities.
This is obviously a large opportunity. What is the challenge the industry faces to make the most of it?
It's not an evolved proposition out here, and therefore the patriarch of the family doesn't want to lose control. And since it's not that trodden, like what you've seen in your part of the world, the loss of control is the biggest impediment. Loss of control can be mitigated, but then you get exposure to estate duty issues. So balancing the two is somehow a little more difficult to convince to the patriarch of the family, and that, to my mind, is the single biggest challenge.
What's the competency of advisors that claim to add value around wealth planning?
I think quite good, but obviously there is scope for improvement. I think that there are two aspects to it. Now, one is the evolution of practice itself, because if you see in the last 20 years we've been without estate duty tax, and therefore succession planning and wealth planning was not that much prevalent. So it's maturing of the institutions out here on the subject, that's one. Two, as Indian wealth gets more global, complexity of handling in multiple jurisdictions, multiple laws, multiple succession issues, multiple tax issues gets increasingly complex, and therefore there is a scope of improvement in terms of assimilation of all these practice areas and all these jurisdictional knowledges. And that's where I think the other part where the evolution is taking place, in terms of intermingling of professionals from various jurisdictions and working together. And I guess this is one such event.
How would you articulate the opportunity that exists in India?
Actually, this entire thing goes hand in hand with wealth creation. And wealth creation is typically has taken place quite concentratedly in the last 2 decades in emerging markets, in India and China being one of the drivers on that. And there is obviously much more to go in terms of creation of wealth, and therefore the growth potentials are much higher in all industries, including this industry. And therefore I think India is will be one of the go-to destinations for this as we continue to create wealth.